Today we're making this high profit wood art so you can sell it too. If you are over 40, a woodworker looking to earn some extra money on the nights and weekends around your job, or to boost your retirement, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Donna, and on our channel we show you different woodworking projects with high profit margins, most made with scrap, that have sold really well for us so you can make and sell them too. So to begin, you glue your pattern onto your wood and then cut it out on the scroll saw. The patterns are available in our Etsy store and the link is in the description below. And this particular project has a little surprise at the end, so make sure you stick around. Okay, so I've got all my pieces cut out and I sanded them. I'm going to do a bit more sanding and I will show you that. I'm trying to round off the edges around the light and the tire and maybe the handlebars. So I will show you. Okay, so I thought I would show you how I glue everything down when you've got an intricate pattern like this. So I've got all my pieces sort of laid out and I take my legend and I put it down, and then I am taping a piece of parchment paper over it so I can see, and I'm going to glue the pieces together. So I just have this on a piece of wood. It is going to be the backing piece, but that doesn't really matter. It's just so I have a surface to glue the pieces. So the goal of this is to take all these little pieces and get them glued into chunks so they're easier to move. So as always, I've got everything numbered on the back to match my pattern. So we'll just start with this section. So I've got wood glue. I like the Express, it dries a little quicker. So I'm going to start by just doing this handle. So you don't need much. Just wipe away any excess. And we'll go on to the next piece. I find this much easier than trying to glue it all in place permanently on your backer. And this is really just to hold it all together. You're still going to glue it down onto your backing piece. This is just to get your placement. Okay, and then that's going to go right up there. And it might not all stay together. This might move when I go to move it. If it does, that's okay. This isn't the final. Again, this is just to make things easier when it comes time to placing it on the backing. Go. And take care of any excess as you go. So there we go. So I'll just continue that. I guess I could do this piece. I wouldn't expect to get much more than that as a section. And I don't really even expect this to stay completely together for the move, but it'll be better than what I have. So I'll just continue gluing all the pieces. Okay, so this is where I've ended up. I've got my little sections all glued, and then I'm leaving some of them unglued because I know they'll just nuzzle in once I get it all in there. So now we'll let this dry and then we'll move it all to the backing. Okay, so we're going to start staining, and I'm going to do the background of this piece is going to be black, and then we're going to do wood tones. So I know I want the wheel and the side pieces to be the darkest wood tone. So I'm going to do those in a dark walnut. So I'm going to start with that, and I think as well the grips here will also be black, so we'll get going on that. So I am using the Minwax dark walnut in oil. I do prefer the old school stains. I know not everybody does. That's okay. I'm just going to be very mindful that I don't get it everywhere. So I'm using a really fine brush. To make this easier on yourself, you could have stained these pieces before they all went together. I probably should have done that. But I'm up for the challenge. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. We love to hear from you. And if you like this video, please consider hitting that like button. It really does help us out a lot. And if you are interested in more wood art projects, please check out the channel. We've got lots there. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the mid-tone, which is going to be a golden oak. When you're doing any sort of coloring on a piece, you should consider like you want the 3 tones. You want light, medium, and dark. And so I'm going to start in here. I'm using such a fine brush, it's not holding much. Oh, that's pretty. Again, I'll do all the ends just in case they poke through. Wipe off the excess. Look, that one came apart. Glue came apart on me. That's okay. Oh, that's pretty. The darker. Yeah, that's really pretty. Okay, so I'll do the other one. I'm currently working on a muscle car in the same vein as the motorcycle project. But if there's anything in particular you would like to see as wood art, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get your input. And we're also working on quite a few different seasonal projects, so some Christmas ones. So please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of that. And with all of our wood art projects, Chris will make the frames for them using his 2x4 method, which basically gives you a frame for around $1. That we have a separate video on that, so I'll leave that in the description as well if you want to check that out. And as far as where we sell our items, we do most of it locally on places like Facebook Marketplace, that sort of thing, and it does really well for us. These pieces are really unique and they're really quite sought after, and especially when you do subject matter like this where it's so specific, motorcycles are so popular, it'll be a great seller for you. So this is the piece stained, and now this is the piece with the shadow work that we're going to get to now. It just takes it to the next level. Okay, so we've got the motorcycle glued down, it's all stained, and now we're going to start working on doing some shadow work to really help get some of these areas to pop. All I'm using is just black craft paint, acrylic paint. This is just from the dollar store, and we're just gonna water it down. And I just have 2 brushes. I've got a liner brush, which is like a long skinny brush, and then a fluffier round brush to help diffuse it. And I'll use my fingers a lot too, you'll see that. Okay, so to start, you just get your brushes wet, and then I'm just going to give them, I just want them damp. And then I'll pick up a bit more water, put it on my palette over here, grab just a dot of that black. You're going for like an ink consistency because you want to be able to diffuse this. You need enough water in it, but you don't want it too thin. So I think we're going to start with right here where the tank would reach the side. There'd be a natural shadow there. So I'm just going to start and put a line And now when you work with shadows, you generally want to work with triangle shapes. You don't want to end up with just outlining everything. That's not what we're going for. So I just did a straighter line here and then out to a triangle on the edge. And what I find is it's much better to do a couple different passes with a thin paint than to try to do this in one thick go. You're gonna end up with more of an outline type look. Okay, so I'm also going to use this to highlight the lines where the wood meets even more. So again, same thing. And I'm just going to go in that line, in that space, and catch the edge. Just going to go back and add a bit more. Then go in with my brush and just diffuse it. You can also use your finger easily for this stuff too. And then here, I'm going to show you on the tire, we've got the rounded top and then the rounded edges that we sanded. So now I'm going to add a bit more of this darker paint on that edge to really try to enhance that roundness. So I'm going to follow the round curve that I sanded in. And all of these wood art pieces are fantastic on their own. You don't need to do this. I just feel it really does take it to the next level. And my background, I've been painting for years, so I love to do it. I love to add the enhancements. I do have a separate video coming out that really kind of dives into how you do this painting technique in more detail. I kind of do it in real time and show you each step along the way, so keep an eye open for that as well. All right, and now for up here, I'm just basically focusing on the one side so you can see what I would do, and then I'll finish it. Okay, so for here, we're going to add some of this for sure on the grips to really separate out those sections. And when I'm working with wood, like you can see, this has a very interesting grain pattern. Definitely wanting to keep that. I want to highlight that. I love the wood. I'm not trying to cover it. We're just trying to enhance all the different sections here. If your brush isn't wet enough, it's not able to diffuse the color well, but you don't want it too wet either. Just a nice dampness. If when you touch it, it's not doing anything, it's probably too dry. And if when you touch it, it actually creates a puddle, it's too wet. Okay, I'm liking that so far. Okay, so that's the gist of it. I hope you can see that on screen, the difference it makes, and I will go ahead and finish the other side and then we'll come back and talk about it. Okay, so you can see I've done the shading everywhere, and now you can see I've added the lines on these spring baffle things, and so I'll show you how to do that. So you're basically wanting to take the same thin down paint with a really thin brush This is my liner brush, and it's going to make a really thin line, and I really want it watered down. I don't want a black line by any means. And then I'm going to soften it up with my brush. So same idea. So just drawing the line. And I'm just going to go in. And so this is the piece with all the shading done. Okay, so here's the finished product. We framed it up using the 2x4 technique, and then we put a little surprise in this one. Let's see if you can tell.
Cool. So I went to the dollar store and picked up this cool little $1.75 set of lights. They're just like little pin lights, little LEDs. And it's cool because they're like little cylinders. They're about an inch or so long. And all I did was I matched up the size of the bit with the diameter basically of one of these lights. And I drilled a bunch of holes around the headlight here and a couple right here. And I just pushed them up through the back. So you can see that here they are. They've all been pushed in the holes, and then the extra lights will just kind of tape. There's only 5 or 6 extra ones. We'll just tape them in behind here in a little clump, and this can also be taped here if you want, or you can just leave it out, whatever. And yeah,
so it just adds a really little extra special touch to it. This piece is for our son. As soon as he saw it, he was like, I have to have it. This is how it'll go in his room. But this is just a fantastic piece that I think any motorcycle lover would love. So thanks so much for watching. We truly appreciate you taking some time out of your day to spend it with us. And we hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.